All right, welcome to the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show. After the Kyle Shanahan press conference, we go live. Some very interesting stuff in the presser. We will get to it right now. Come aboard. Join us. Come with us. Off and rolling. Monday is off and rolling. Already streamed this morning. We got streams coming later. You're going to hear me on the radio. Man, we got a bunch going on. Dieter will stream with me tonight after the Monday Nighter. A lot going on the Krug Show. Happy Monday, November 17th. And it is a happy Monday because the Niners took down the Cardinals yesterday and hung 40 on them. Good win for the 49ers. Brock Purdy is back. And today, Kyle Shanahan, as he always does, talks at his Monday press conference about what exactly shakeout from the game. He watched the film. They looked at the injuries. And he always starts with the injuries. So we will start with the injuries as well. Robert Beal is in the concussion protocol. I thought Beal had some really good moments yesterday. You know, I've been rough on Beal because Beal hasn't produced worth a damn. But guess what? He set the edge in the run game yesterday. Pinnock, number of those plays Pinnock made were Beal taking on guys and getting penetration. So Robert Beal, way to go. And but now he's got a concussion and he's in the protocol. The other big story is that Tatum Bethune, the Niners starting inside linebacker, does have a high ankle sprain. They don't think he's going to go on IR. So that's good news. They don't think he's going to be out 4 weeks. Bethune is just, man, he will rock and roll. He will play hurt. That guy is absolutely going to come back and play this year. But he's got the high ankle sprain. So I would say he's out at least 2 weeks. And Jalen Graham would be the next man up. They may look at some other linebackers to put on the practice squad. What I would do is go raid the Ravens practice squad for Chandler Martin, who played at Memphis. And we had him on the Krug Show. You can see the interview that I did with the kid. He is a phenomenal kid. And the Ravens are a great team and a great organization. Why? Because they're really good at developing young players, their own young players. Keaton Mitchell at running back and others. And this is the latest. They have an inside backer from Memphis named Chandler Martin, who should have been drafted but was not. He's a little bit undersized, but man, he is a terrific player, terrific person. He's the kind of player and the kind of person that the 49ers want. So I would poach him off the Ravens practice squad right now and put him on the active roster over Jalen Graham and just see if you can preserve your inventory. Why? Because run and hit linebackers who can make plays and are instinctive are hard to find. And when you find them and they're sitting out there, you just get them and stash them and stack them because there's a lot of contact. There's a lot of collisions. There's a lot of injuries. It's not accidental that Warner's out. Bethune's out. Winters is dinged. You know, I thought Luke Gifford, I thought he was going to be on the concussion protocol the way he got rocked yesterday. That's a violent position. There's a lot of collisions, the most of them, maybe any spot on the field. So more linebackers is a good thing. Chandler Martin. And if you don't like that name, there's two other names I really like. Eugene Asante, the former Auburn Tiger. He's on a practice squad. The other name that I think is really interesting is Chris Paul, not the former Warrior basketball player, but this is Chris Pooh Paul, who played at Ole Miss. Played at Arkansas, kind of like a little bit like a Dre Greenlaw, undersized guy, but he can hit, he can run, he can cover. He's on Seattle's practice squad. You got Seattle once later this year. I'd like to know a little bit more about that defense that Mike McDonald has. Maybe you pick off a guy like that. All right, just some ideas. But the injuries at the start, Bethune not going on the IR, Jalen Graham next man up. High ankle sprain for Bethune. He's going to miss at least 2 weeks. That's typically a month-long injury, guys, to be completely frank. So you might not see him until after the bye week. So they're going to have to make do, and he's a thumper, man. He's a big-time hitter. You guys know it. So that's a huge loss. Eddie Pineiro's got a right hamstring. It's a grade 1 strain, and the plan for the 49ers is to bring in kickers to work out either Tuesday or Wednesday. Niners play on Monday, so their practice week this week will be, when will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They practice most likely. But Pineiro, Missed a couple PATs, but he's 22 for 22 on field goals. But he's got a grade 1 hamstring strain. And they'll work out kickers. Now, the question was asked, are you interested in the greatest kicker, Justin Tucker, who's had problems off the field? Will you bring Tucker in for a workout? And Shanahan just said, hey, we haven't discussed him. He kind of played like he didn't know, and he may not know. I mean, sometimes the personnel side of things are on the other side, but I mean, I'm sure I'd be very surprised if the Niners signed Justin Tucker, but he's out there. If they want him, he's one of the great kickers in NFL history. All right, let's take a quick timeout to tell you this from our friends at Brunt. Today's video is sponsored by Brunt Workwear, and let me tell you, I was blown away when I pulled these boots out of the box. I've got the Omen soft toe in black right here. I love these boots. I've been wearing them for a few days. They're comfortable, no painful break-in, no sore feet, just tough, durable boots that feel great right away. The story behind Brunt is awesome, too. Their founder, Eric Gerard, grew up blue collar. His friends in the trades told him that the big brands had sold out and stopped listening, so he built Brunt to make gear for real hardworking people. That's why every product is named after the guys he grew up with. The boots are made by and for the trades. Now, whether you need waterproof, safety toe, soft toe, pull on, lace up, Brunt has options that can handle whatever job site you're walking into. And the best part, if they're not right for you, you can wear them and still send them back. That's how much Brunt believes in their product. Right now, for a limited time, you can get $10 off Brunt when you use the code Larry at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/Larry. Enter the code Larry and you're good to go. After you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor. Tell them it was from the Krug Show. So don't settle for uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. Brunt built something better. Insanely comfortable, durable work boots for real work. There you go. Thanks to Brunt for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right. Back to Kyle Shanahan's press conference. He had a number of things to say today, and we're going to tell you about all of it. He was asked about Curtis Robinson, and he said, man, they're so happy for Curtis Robinson. He played on special teams. He played on defense. He played a career-high snaps. Shanahan said he did a hell of a job. The defense, guys, was on the field in this game for 82 plays. That is a lot of plays on defense. Curtis Robinson definitely played well. Great moment. Probably the best game of his career. Shanahan talked about how one thing he loved about this game was the team got turnovers. They didn't have any turnovers, and they got a big return on special teams. And they were waiting for that game where it would break, where they would win the turnover margin, where they would have the big play, game-changing play on special teams. And this was the game. So that contributed to the win for sure. He was asked about Brock Purdy and how he's feeling, and he said, I haven't spoken to him today. Players of the day off and this and that. And then he kind of played like he didn't know how Purdy was doing. And then he's like, but I talked to him last night and he's sounding okay. It's like, you could have led with that, Kyle. You talked to him last night. It's like, I didn't talk to him today. I haven't talked to him. So yeah, unless Purdy in the middle of the night got really, and that can't happen, by the way. This is football. So sometimes you do go to bed and you wake up the next morning and you're not feeling as good. But he said he hadn't talked to him today, but he did talk to him last night. And as of last night, he was feeling pretty good. So that's good news. We'll find out more by just, really, I wouldn't even listen to what people say in this thing. I would just follow your eyes. What do your eyes tell you? I mean, to me, yesterday, my eyes told me that he's about 85, 90%, that he's a little hesitant to run. He doesn't want to run. He wants to stay in the pocket. He's going to have less running. He didn't run. He had opportunities to, and he didn't take it. I think that the version that we may get of Brock Purdy the rest of the year is he moves within the pocket, but he, taking off and running, not so much. And who knows? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. What if it plays out that he plays really good football? The Niners go on some run, and we find out, after he's healed, that the turf toe injury was a blessing in disguise because it taught him that he really needs to stay in the pocket more and make plays from the pocket. And maybe that's where he has his ultimate success. I mean, I would love it if Purdy could be kind of like a Mahomes. Well, if you're listening, you're going, of course you want of course you want him to be Mahomes. But what I mean by that is just that Mahomes is not looking to run. He's not. Mahomes is looking to pass. And when he moves in the pocket, he's not looking to run then. He's looking to move to a second platform of, off which he can pass. And then Mahomes will get you lured into the belief that he's not going to run. And then there will be a second half, put away the game, hunt for a first down, where somebody will give him a rush lane and he'll take it. And he'll have one run for 28 yards. And we've seen it firsthand. 49er fans have seen Mahomes do it. And we've seen him do it against not just the Niners, other teams as well. And to me, that's, I think, if I was advising Brock on where I think he ought to be as far as his game, because he has the ability to run all over the yard, do figure eights, and be Fran Tarkenton. For Fran Tarkenton, for some of you younger fans, was a quarterback from the 70s who ran a lot like a Russell Wilson, a lot like Brock Purdy. He was an undersized quarterback who was great and ran around. In fact, probably Brock Purdy's most like Fran Tarkenton of all the quarterbacks that he's ever been compared to. It's probably Fran Tarkenton. We should try to get Fran Tarkenton on, actually, because I used to do a regular weekly hit with him, and he's a great guy. He's living down in Georgia and loves football, and he probably has some great things to say about Brock Purdy. I made effort for that later this week. But Brock Purdy, according to Kyle, he's feeling good. He's feeling good, and that's good news. He was asked, have you ever had this much confidence in a kicker? And he's like, well, Robbie Gould didn't miss the whole year one year. Let's not forget Robbie. He was asked, why was Eddie so fired up at the end there? And he's like, Kyle said, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I did see that. Maybe he's just a fiery guy. So we'll have to ask Eddie this week at his locker, why after that last kick were you super fired up? I think it might be because Eddie got destroyed early in the game and got thrown on the ground. And once you've been thrown on the ground and kind of, manhandled, muscled a little bit, then all of a sudden it becomes like probably a little bit more personal. And Eddie's kind of a fiery guy. He says all the right things, but he's definitely got some fire burning down deep there. So we're going to ask him about this week, because his teammates had to restrain him. I don't know if you guys saw that. He was barking and screaming and yelling. I mean, Eddie was fired up after that last field goal. But yeah, Kyle's like, yeah, don't forget that Robbie Gould guy. Then the quarterback question came up. Hey, how about Adrian Martinez? How about Curtis Rourke? Are we gonna see these guys? And of course, the Niners just waived Adrian Martinez. I thought, isn't that telling? It was telling that people know, the people who cover this team know that was a procedural type thing, with Adrian Martinez. They really like Adrian Martinez. Now they may lose him, right? They may lose him. Somebody could claim him off waivers. And Shanahan referenced that today. But basically, Shanahan also kind of told us the plan, which is if he clears waivers, they're going to put him back in the practice squad. And that's what I think is probably going to happen. They like Adrian Martinez. I'd be very shocked if Adrian Martinez wasn't in training camp next year, and we see him in the preseason. I think they'd like to develop Adrian Martinez. So I think they love their quarterback room. Brock and Mac and Adrian Martinez and Rourke, and they'll probably wind up trading Mac at the end of the year for a pretty nice sum. And then it'll be Brock and Martinez and Rourke next year. And that's a good room. That's a good room. I mean, I think that might be one of the better rooms in the NFL next year, even if they don't have Mac Jones. So, and I love Mac Jones, man. I hope they keep Mac Jones, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll probably wind up trading him. So he said Curtis Rourke will have his window opened at some point this year. So they want to let him get out there and practice. And Martinez is headed back to the practice squad if he clears waivers, and we expect he will. That's not what Shanahan didn't say he expects they will, but I'm saying that. He was asked about his defense, and he said, man, I'm real proud of my defense. And, the one point that Shanahan did make is it was 35-10 in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, if you get to the fourth quarter on the road and you've given up 10 points, I don't care what it looks like. That's pretty good. Then at the end, they played, soft shell coverages, real soft coverages, and just kind of allowed completions and allowed, the defense to stay out there as Brissett was completing passes. And then Shanahan mentioned when Beal went out with the injury, they played with only 3 defensive ends, and they've had 82 plays. So, they were gassed, they were tired, they were fatigued, they ran out of gas. But he made the point, hey, it was 35-10 in the fourth quarter. That's a good point, because 10 points, I don't care who's playing defense, 10 points for an NFL team ain't bad. They asked, why did Cleve Farrell and Kevin Givens, why were they inactive? And Kyle just said, hey, we decided to go with Robert Beal and CJ West. They thought CJ West is a better run defender, and they thought there was a chance that Arizona would try to run the ball. And so they wanted to get their best run defender out there. And West is, let's be honest too. Farrell and Givens, the 49ers are now at a portion of the schedule and the portion of the year with this roster where I think they absolutely did the right thing there. Play the young players, develop your young players. I want to see even more. I want to see Garendo. I want to see more Nick Martin. I want to play your young guys. Farrell and Givens, there's nothing. Especially Givens. Givens a pass rusher. He's had injuries. He doesn't give you a lot as a run defender. You drafted CJ West in the 4th round. He's good. Play him. Yes. Does he need to learn? Is he going to make some mistakes? Yeah, but he's good. He's 300-pound interior player who's good. Who's going to be a major key cog for you going forward. Play CJ West over Givens. And Beal's got a huge amount of talent. So they're gambling on the upside of Beal. And I understand that too, because they got nothing. Maybe Robert Beal might be one of the only 3 or 4 guys on this roster that could actually save the season. Robert Beal is 6'4", 260 and runs 4.48 and is probably as athletic as almost any defensive end in the league. This guy is a freak, a super freak athletically. And they've got a great coach and they've got a great scheme and they haven't been able to get it out of him. And so that, if this team's going anywhere and really going anywhere, like going to go to the playoffs, win a playoff game, contend for a Super Bowl, Robert Beal's going to have to grow up, not grow up like, hey, you're immature, but like grow up as a football player and be ready to play major snaps and be ready to play a major role. He's got to go from just along for the ride and developing to you got to go, you got to play. And he's got to play and he's got to play well. So I kind of get that one. Cleve Farrell's going to give you out of 10, let's say he's going to give you a 6. Beal's going to give you a 4, but he could give you a 9. So I think you got to take a chance on Beal whenever he's healthy there, unless we get towards the end of the year and it's just, you just don't, Beal is not doing it. At that point, you may just cut Beal and go in a different direction altogether. But I'd go with Beal and West over the older guys, Farrell and Givens. I got no problem with that at all. Couple other notes. Kyle was asked about Ricky Pearsall, who basically got shut out. He said he had a good game. He played well. Okay. That's like one of those things you say just to shut everybody up. But did he really have a good game? Well, what if he caught 10 balls for 2 touchdowns? What kind of game's that then? Compared to no catches or 1 catch for no yards. 1st-round draft choice, no touchdowns, 5 games. Jacob Cowing, Brandon Aiyuk. Will they have their practice window open was the question? No, not this week. Hope to open the 3-week practice window at some point, but they will not have their practice windows open this week. Cowing, wow. Just persistent hamstring injuries, and Aiyuk with the knee, just not ready. It's looking more and more like 26 for Aiyuk. I can't imagine that I would be absolutely shocked as we're sitting here on November 17th if you told me that Brandon Aiyuk came back and had a significant contribution in any game this year. I'd be shocked because it's just been a long time. And it's a major, major injury. And he's not even had his practice window opened, and we're heading towards week 12. So that, that's a huge departure from where a lot of people were at the beginning of the year. He's back week 1. He's going to be a major player. When Aiyuk comes back and they get rolling, we heard a lot of that. I don't know where you guys are on it, but that's where I'd be. Or that's where I am. I'd be shocked if for either Cowing or Aiyuk somehow got back in there and made a significant contribution this year. That would be shocking. Cowing's never established himself at all. There's questions about his strength and obviously his durability. And Aiyuk's had a catastrophic knee injury. And, to me, it's not about when he gets back. It's what is he when he gets back. As far as what week, this week, that week, let him get rested. Let him get right. I mean, do right by Brandon. I mean, he's given you a lot, and I would do right by Brandon Aiyuk. He's got a lot of his career left. If he was 36, I'd say get him in there. If this team were like on the verge of a Super Bowl and he was 36, get him in there. Let's just go. But he's not. He's closer to 26. He's got a lot more career left. You have to be responsible. Have to be responsible. It's not about you. It's about him. I'm all about the team, except when a guy's rehabilitating from a catastrophic injury. Then it's all about the individual. If the Niners timeline and his timeline doesn't jive, then his timeline needs to win out. I mean, to me, that's obvious, but maybe other people are like, get him out there. No, too much of it's his, too much. He's got too much of an NFL future. You got to keep him out. You got to let him rehab the whole thing. Get him right. And if that means he doesn't play this year, then he doesn't play this year. Catastrophic is the word that Lynch used to describe the Aiyuk injury. And if they had used that word initially, I think people would have realized, hey, you know what? This guy's going to be gone. This guy's going to be gone for a year, solid year, maybe a year and a half. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best for Aiyuk, but it doesn't sound like we're getting closer to anything, and I would be shocked if he contributes this year. Couple last ones. Shanahan was also asked about what else? Oh, yeah. Why not get your guys off the field? What are you doing in the fourth quarter with Purdy and CMC and Kittle and all these guys still in the game? These are indispensable, gotta have it players, and you're throwing them out there in the fourth quarter when you have, it was the question had to be asked. And I forget who asked it. I think it might have been Branch, and Shanahan gave an answer. It's like you got to consider everything, and he's got battle scars from that Detroit game a couple years ago, where Detroit, they had a big lead and then they botched it at the end, and Detroit had a chance to win at the end. They were at the 30-yard line and they had a chance to score a touch, so he's got the scars of that. But what you're going to have the scars of is the season was completely lost because CMC, Purdy, or Kittle was lost in garbage time. And it's football, man. Guys can go down anytime. When the game's decided, get your money off the field. Get your money off the field. Purdy should have been pulled at least a series earlier. CMC should have been pulled 2 series earlier. Go with Garendo. Let me ask you this, Kyle. When's Garendo ever going to play? The way you have things set up, when are we ever going to see Garendo play? And if he doesn't play, how's he going to develop? And if he doesn't develop, how's he going to contribute? So what's the plan? You get up multiple scores in the fourth quarter, have a plan. It's like Shanahan plans so hard and so intensely to win that he doesn't think about, when I've won, how do I want to finish? But you know what? He's like, you can't think about the criticism. Really? Okay. Don't, because I'm not going to control it. Nobody's going to be able to control it. If they lost Brock Purdy for the season, Brock Purdy looked great yesterday. If they lost Brock Purdy for the season in garbage time yesterday, you don't think there would be a lot of fans going, what the heck, Kyle? What the heck? You know what I mean? And it may even get more ugly than that. There may be some choice words being thrown towards Kyle. People talking about regime change, and Kyle doesn't know how to manage the game. So I get it. You don't coach the team because of the criticism. You have to be a leader of men. You got to be able to, go beyond the criticism. I get that. You can't be sitting there going, well, what are they going to say if I do this? What are they going to say if I do that? And screw all that. Coach the game to win the game, but get your money off the field when you're up 2 scores at the end. Your schedule's cake. You had to have thought about this. You had to have thought, we're going to have 4 or 5 games where we're going to be up multiple scores. What are we going to do then? We got Mac Jones. Hey, we got Garendo. Hey, we got Tonjes. I mean, that's the other thing, too. It's not like you've got nobodies. You could have kept it rolling with Mac Jones. Mac Jones didn't throw a pass. You could have, continued driving with Mac Jones. You could have continued driving with Garendo. How about throw the ball to Garendo in the flat and let's see him beat a linebacker and go do a house call. Let's give that kid some confidence. He's got none. Build up his confidence. Get him feeling good. Make this a total team win. No. Purdy, CMC, Kittle, late in games, multiple scores against the Cardinals. They're dead as a doorknob, and you're sitting there with your stars on the field risking the whole season. I don't know. Some people think the season's already over. I'm not one of them. So I think I think they got a shot. I don't think it's a great shot, but they got a shot. They got a puncher's shot. And but you have no shot. If today we were sitting here going, hey, great win over the Cardinals. Purdy's done for the year, but great win over the Cardinals. Well, guess what? Probably the Niners' chances are done for the year. Great win. CMC's done for the year because of that last play in the fourth. But yeah, well, then the season's done. Okay, good win. Good win. Of course, he lost Kittle on that last play of the game. But how would today be different? Yeah, exactly. It'd be really different. It would be the main focal point. We'd be talking about it a lot. Why? Because it has a huge impact. So all I'm saying is get your guys off the field. He was asked that question. He said, hey, I can't worry about the criticism. And then he kind of filibustered. I don't think he really said anything totally with conviction there. It's all feel. He's got the scars of the Detroit game for sure. You mentioned it. It's a weakness, man. They got to get their guys off the field. He was asked about the rookie Upton Stout and how he's playing at the nickelback and why that's such a big deal. And, Kyle he crystallized it. This was one of the better answers. He's like, hey, man, if you're going to play that nickelback spot, you're a cover corner. You're an in-the-box linebacker. You're a safety. You've got to be it all. And it's a very difficult position. I'll say this from just looking at the rewatch, the Upton Stout PI call was a bad call. Bad call. I mean, my God, that just wasn't PI. It wasn't anywhere close to PI. There's so much more physicality that's allowed in different snaps. To call PI there on that one on him, I thought was bad. I think Stout's playing well. I got no problem with the way he's playing. I really don't. I think he's aggressive. He some guys are too soft. Some guys are too aggressive. If there's one thing he is, it might be too aggressive. But guess what? You're talking about a guy who's physically one of the best players you have, and mentally he's one of the best players you have. This might be one of the best young players on the whole freaking team. This guy mentally is sharp as a tack, and physically he's top shelf. He's 5'8", but if he was 6'3", this guy's going to the Hall of Fame. And this is an awesome talent. This guy plays the game hard. He's mentally super engaged. I've talked to him about down and distance and different plays and his mindset on different plays. And it's like, dude, this guy is going to be one of the best players on this football team going forward. No doubt in my mind, because he's got it all. He's got it all. He's kind of, when you're the smartest and like physically one of the best, you're the best. And that's where he's at. He is amazing. What a great pick that was. He's just so smart, so intense, so dialed in. And you can see his football intellect if you watch closely. He knows where the sticks are. He'll make plays where he's driving the guy back from the sticks. He knows the down and distance. He knows how to get off the field on third down. He's money, man. If I could clone that guy, I would. And the last thing, Kyle was asked about the pass rush. Hey, Kyle, what about the pass rush? And he's like, hey, I like the fact that we didn't rely on the blitz as much, that we tried to just get it done as much as we could up front. I haven't seen the blitz totals yet from the game, but they were less. Last week they blitzed 55%, and it just it created a chaos on the back end, and it just makes it so hard on a group of players that are collectively very, very young and inexperienced to blitz as much as they did. So they blitzed less in this game. And Kyle said he liked that overall. But I mean, obviously the pass rush isn't good enough. I mean, it's just as simple as that. We can talk about the pass rush. They got to find more. I think they ought to look at a practice squad for somebody they can poach. They gotta have a tryout for some veterans who are on the street. I mean, they gotta search the globe. And you sit there and go, well, wait a second. What are you even talking about, Krug? Is this even possible? I mean, look at this guy. I don't know if you watched any of Detroit and Philadelphia last night, but Detroit has had some injuries, and they found this kid Roy Lopez, defensive tackle, who was originally went to University of Arizona, and he's a sawed-off 6'1". If he's that, he's probably 6 feet. He's about 315 pounds, though. He was a 5th-round pick of the Texans in the 21 draft, or maybe a 6th-round pick in the 21 draft, out of University of Arizona. And he's just as I said, he's not impressive looking. He's 6 feet tall. He's about 315 pounds, but he's strong. He's got a motor, and they're developing him, and he's playing with his hair on fire. He got a big sack in the game last night. I mean, they're getting it done with Roy Lopez, a 28-year-old street free agent who's been with Houston, Arizona, now Detroit. He's on his 3rd team, and yet he's in the middle of that defense making plays. So you know what? Sometimes you just got to keep going, man. You got to keep going. You got to keep looking for guys that you think potentially can help you. You got to keep coaching them up. Keep looking for to unearth gems. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, bring in 5 or 6 guys and take a look. This is a war of attrition, and it's easy to go, oh, the Niners don't have Warner and Bosa, they're done. Well, guess what? The Buccaneers don't have Kalijah Kancey. The Buffalo Bills just lost Ed Oliver. Tucker Kraft, the great tight end of the Green Bay Packers, done for the year. I mean, there's guys falling left and right. It's November 17th. You're not playing the playoffs till January. You just got to keep going. Put your head down, keep going, pile up wins against these crappy teams in this stretch right around the bye. And then see where you are, see where Brock is, and see where you are. Hopefully you can unearth a practice squad gem at defensive end. Maybe you can find somebody. I'm sure they're looking. I am absolutely sure that they are looking, because the trade deadline came and went, and they still need help, and they're in it. And now they look like they got an offense that can put up 30 points a game. Now, granted, that game yesterday, Arizona's garbage. 17 penalties, 3 turnovers. Jonathan Gannon, that was the Jonathan Gannon's going to get fired game. So, they're an aberration. This is going to be a much tougher game this week against Carolina, a much better football team. But the Niners, they've got to win with their veteran offense. That's where their money is. Trent, CMC, Kittle, Purdy, the guys who make cash, Aiyuk, Juice, all these guys, they're making boatloads of cash. On the offensive side of the ball, the offense is going to have to carry them, but their defensive personnel, player personnel department is going to have to find either a street free agent that can contribute, or a practice squad player they can poach. And they got to get. Saleh will push all the right buttons. I have total confidence in him and Gus Bradley running this defense, but I don't know if they've got just enough. Bethune out for an extended period of time. You're going to lean on Jalen Graham the whole time. Maybe you feel good about that. I've always liked him. I liked him at Purdue. He was kind of played a rover, kind of combo safety, linebacker role. He's very, very athletic. He can also be a little bit undisciplined and overrun some holes, but you're also talking about maybe one of the freshest, most athletic players. He could wind up with 10, 12 tackles and really fly around. I'm eager to see what Graham can contribute, but as I mentioned, I like some of those other guys as well. Chandler Martin at the top of that list. All right. We should tell everybody that we are brought to you by Sleeper. 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, Larry, easy to remember. Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. I'm loving Sleeper and everything that they do. All right. let's hit a couple. We got a couple supers in the chat. Joseph Ernberg is here. What's up, Joe? He said, this team can beat anyone. In my opinion, Brock elevates it. Who hacked Ernberg? Somebody hacked Ernberg's chats. That doesn't sound negative. That's not the negativity that I enjoy from an Ernberg. Who put sugar in that guy's Cheerios? All right. Thank you, Ernberg. I mean, the bottom line is there's two ways to win. Shut them out. Defense pitches a shutout, you're going to win. Offense scores 50, you're going to win. So you can either outscore them or you can keep them down. And obviously the best teams do both. The 49ers, I don't think, can keep people down. But they do have not just a pretty good offense, they got a pretty dynamic offense. It's the best left tackle there is right there. It's one of the great running backs of his time. It's arguably the best tight end of his era. It's one of the great play callers of his era. And Brock Purdy, whatever you think about him, I think Brock Purdy's pretty damn good. You guys know how I feel about Brock Purdy. So Niners, for that reason, have a chance. But their defense is going to need help beyond what I see they have right now. And so that means they're either going to have to get turnovers because they can't stop anybody. But they were better against the run this last game. They got to get turnovers, and they got to play complementary football. They got to, how about maybe just run the heck out of the ball? Just become a run-dominant team and see if you can run it. See if you can just pound it. They ran well at times yesterday. Early, they struggled. But once they loosened them up a little bit with the pass game, I thought Barch and Brendel had a couple of real nice blocks in the middle of the field. They ran the ball. So that to me would be do the Niners have a shot to win the Super Bowl? With this defense, hard to picture. But, there's weird stuff, going on in this league. Detroit's offense, look at, they just got silenced. Green Bay is a circus. They're what's going on with Green Bay and their offensive line, their wide receiver injuries. The Rams and the Seahawks look really good. The Eagles look good. But what's going on with A.J. Brown? That's kind of a weird one. And the Eagles have, they're good on one corner with Quinyon Mitchell, but that other corner can be worked. So it's not like they don't have a weakness. So I just think Washington has fallen apart. Do you believe Carolina? I guess we'll find out firsthand what they look like this week. But, it's with what the 49ers have. You think about who the 49ers are. Brock Purdy's won an NFC championship. He's been to the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan's been to the Super Bowl 4 times, right? 4 times. No, 3 times. He's 0-2 as a head coach, but he's also got 1 as a coordinator, so he's 0-3. But he's been to 3 Super Bowls. You telling me that this 49er team can't go into Seattle and beat Seattle? I think they can. It's not going to be easy, and I'm not saying the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to be that optimistic on a Monday, but I'm just saying I think going to the playoffs they're 7-4. At this point, it'd be a disappointment if they didn't go to the playoffs. And winning a playoff game, I think, is a very realistic goal. And I know that means beating Seattle on the road or one of these teams on the road, but you have all the experience. You've got the guys. There's going to be a nervousness to the playoffs. The Niners shouldn't roll in nervous. The Niners have guys who have been there and done it. Once you've lost a couple Super Bowls, are you really gonna be shaking in your boots, quaking in your boots at playing Sam Darnold on the road in a Seattle stadium where Brock Purdy, I believe, has never lost? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this thing goes, but they're going to have to find something on defense because what we saw yesterday ain't going to cut it. It's as simple as that. Jacoby Brissett setting records. Shanahan saying the defense looked good. The defense did not look good. I mean, he's just trying to be positive. They were better against the run. They got some turnovers, but how much they really benefited from the Cardinals having 17 penalties. But I will say this though, in the NFL, you're +1, you can win and you can beat anybody. You're +2, you've got a very good chance to beat anybody. You're +3, and you're going to win big. And they were +3. So, somehow if they could get turnovers, but turnovers usually come with pass rush, and they don't have a lot of pass rush. So how are they going to get turnovers? So they're going to have to figure out some pass rush. I loved what I saw from Nick Martin, by the way. Loved it. All right, we got another one here. Super from Bill Kennedy. What has happened to John Lund? John and I are good friends, and I know he's writing a little bit for Jason Barrett's media. He's got a media kind of website, and I know John's writing for that, and I know John's, probably efforting to find a new radio home. And I don't know exactly. I've sent him a couple texts. I haven't heard back from him, but I will try again. Good dude, and a very talented guy. And if I was running a radio station, I would want to have at least 3 or 4 John Lunds if I could find them. He's that good. He's one of the best radio guys I've ever worked with. Silence says, did Nick Martin do enough for Saleh to play him? Seriously. I mean, come on, man. Somebody said it in the chat last night in our post game. Too athletic to not play. I mean, come on. You saw the way he finished up that tackle that Gifford had. He just comes flying. This guy got size and speed that is off the charts. Now, if you want to tell me he's not taken to the defense and, he's having a hard time with the calls and he's getting confused and whatever. Okay. I mean, it's not like I'm like, oh, there's no way that could be the case. It's possible. He's a rookie. I don't know his challenges to get out there, but I'm a personnel guy and I know talent, and that guy's talent. Okay. And I'll stand behind that. And I didn't care what anybody said or what any PFF grade said or what anybody else has to say. I mean, I want to hear what other people have to say. I want to hear what everybody has to say, but I have conviction on my most, my biggest player personnel convictions do not get swayed by smart people that don't agree. Yes, everybody's wrong, and I'll take my chances on this one. I said it up front. I said this guy's going to be one of the best rookies of this class. I'm going to stay with it. He's going to be one of the best rookies of this class. To me, if I was Robert Saleh, and I would try to get this guy in the field in some kind of sub package and send him at the quarterback, because look at the speed that he has. And do you think there's a running back in the league that he's not going to run over? He's going to run over any running back that you put out there. You give Nick Martin 5 steps and you put whomever, Bam Knight, in his way. I mean, Bam Knight's going to get knocked on his can, and Nick Martin's going right through that guy. So get this guy in the field. He barely played. He had 7 tackles, 5 solo. You got tons of injuries at linebacker now. I want to see this guy. And when this guy piles up 10-plus tackles in a game and a couple highlight plays, and maybe it forces a turnover or does something spectacular, just remember that your boy over here has been talking him up for months. Love that kid. He's awesome. Great pick. And these people questioning the pick like, oh my God, it's a terrible pick. Your recency bias is showing through. You can't be, sold out to the moment. You have to be rooted in something a little bit deeper. This guy had 26 reps at 225. Great strength, 4.53 speed. And he plays as fast on the field, and 140 tackles in the college game. They flew this guy after he got hurt because he was such an impactful leader in the room. So think about that. Um, I can't wait to see this kid's career unfold. It's going to be awesome. Bill Kennedy said, Ernberg found a higher power, LOL. I know. Can you believe that? What's Ernberg's getting all positive on us? It's killing the channel. Ernberg's back. Is this dynasty finally over in Kansas City? You know, they're another team. I mean, it's like, do you really believe that Kansas City, I mean, Buffalo beat Kansas City in the regular season, but who's going to win in the playoffs? And I mean, are you really going to go against Kansas City in the playoffs? I mean, I think Kansas City's going to wind up. If you said to me, give me your thoughts on the Super Bowl, I would either in the AFC, I would either take Kansas City or I would take New England. I know that sounds crazy, but New England's defense is good. New England's offensive line is young and coming together. Drake May's playing really, really well. Really well. I mean, Drake May's playing terrific football. He looks like one of the great young quarterbacks in the league right now. So I would take either the upstart Patriots or Kansas City. In my dream scenario, the Niners get into a Super Bowl at Levi's with the upstart Patriots, who find a way to get through the AFC but aren't really ready for prime time. And the 49ers get the ring that they should have gotten, let's say against Kansas City in Vegas. It didn't happen there, but that would be amazing. That's what I'm hoping for, is that somehow New England gets there out of the AFC and somehow the 49ers find a way to come away with a couple wins and get into that game. And then get a New England team with a young quarterback who's not really sure. And you got Brock Purdy playing in his home stadium with all these future Hall of Famers, and it becomes a coronation, and the Niners win it at home. It's going to take a lot to get there, which is why I think you got to keep looking for more defense. You got to look for more defense. Have to find something more on defense. You got to come, whether maybe it's Nick Martin as your pass rusher, but you got to come up with something, because, yesterday wasn't good enough. Just simple as that. By the way, there's so many people talking about these sports now. Shady McCoy is saying that the Cardinals players were point shaving. He believes that they were point shaving in yesterday's game. It's like, bro, unless you have something really, really compelling to back that up, that's just a ridiculous, stupid thing to go down that road. I'm not saying it's impossible. We're in an era now where gambling's prevalent, and you just never know. But I mean, to go with that kind of a narrative on the size platform that some of these guys have is reckless and irresponsible when you're going with that narrative just without a whole lot of evidence. To me, that's just if you're just like doing it you're just got a small channel with 5 people watching, and you do whatever you want. But if you're on a network, or if you're doing something major, you got potentially hundreds of thousands of people, and you're talking about point shaving, and you have nothing other than your freaking eyes, and you thought it was an interesting thing to throw out. You better have more than that, because that's damning, and that's a huge thing. I'm looking at Coach Yak put that out there. From Shady McCoy. Unbelievable. One other thing I do want to put in here. I thought this was pretty good. It's only about a minute long. Well, actually, we won't do that. We won't put this in there. We'll talk about this later on. But anyway, I do think that overall, good win for the Niners. Pump the brakes on thinking it was super crazy great, because you've got the Cardinals with their 17 penalties and their 3 turnovers. But Brock Purdy, if he comes out of this, I think you saw that Brock Purdy looked good in the pocket. He may not be able to run as much. He didn't look to run in this game. But, Brock from the pocket, still, in some ways, it might be a blessing. I know that sounds really crazy, and that's obviously wishful thinking on my part. But I really think that he probably should try to play more from the pocket. And I thought last year he looked to escape and move more. It created a little bit more of a I mean, yes, he did it for the good of the team and making plays, and he was running for his life behind a pretty weak line. But I think overall, it would be better for the continuity of this offense if he committed to the pocket and just try to make plays from the pocket. I mean, move well within the pocket, but, try to limit the running. And, do what Mahomes does. Run once or twice a game when it's absolutely a back-breaking run. And the defense goes, oh, it was 3rd and 14, and everybody was covered. And Mahomes sleeked out, and he got 17 and a first down. And the defense goes, oh, that's when I want Brock Purdy to run. And maybe only then. And I think that's what we may get from him in this kind of, trying to navigate the rest of the season mode that he's in as he tries to finish up 2025 with the turf toe. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thanks to all of you guys for stopping by the Krug Show. Is the dynasty over? Oh, we got a few more subs here, a few more supers here. Is the dynasty finally over? I don't think it's over, but it's getting there. I mean, they still have Reed and Taub and Spags and Mahomes and Kelsey. Now, you know what's interesting? And I did read this weekend. Chris Jones, that's the guy who's backslid. Chris Jones is not the same player that he was last year. Go look at the numbers on Chris Jones this year. He's struggling. He's not been the same player. Greg Arjay, Niners D will get better. Cards almost beat the Hawks. Yeah. Well, it's the way you play the day you play. Greg Arjay, I was mistaken, LOL, but Niners D will improve. I was going to say, I don't think the Cards almost beat the Hawks, but I'm not going to argue. Lyrics Media, knowing the Niners would be whole on offense at some point this season and seeing their potential makes it even more upsetting that they did not get a pass rusher in free agency. Schedule is soft. I agree. Michael Clemens for a 7th would have been great. I mean, it's just the fact they could. Arden Key would have been great. What was Arden Key going to cost you? But they're thinking down the road. They're trying to think about their future, and that's the priority. So that's the way it goes. What do we got planned the rest of the day? I've been going live throughout the day. I was already live with Damon this morning. We're just going live now. I was on with Papa and Silver this morning on KMBR. In about 38 minutes from now, I'm going to join Derek Papa on KMBR, and I'm sitting in for Adam Copeland today. So check me out on the radio between 2 and 6 on KMBR or KMBR's YouTube channel. You're all invited. And we've got some great guests. I mean, there's going to be some terrific guests on today. Double check who we have with us, but we have some great guests today stopping by the show. So you're not going to want to miss it. What do we have? We have today, I think we do have a guest or two. Todd Husak's going to stop by at 3:50. We'll get his thoughts on what he's doing. Matt Mayoko is going to stop by at 4:50. So we got those two guys on a big football Monday. So we got a lot to get to. We'll talk a lot of Niners and a lot about the NFL on KMBR between 2 and 6. And then, so I won't have Niners Nightly tonight. Kerry Crowley will be sitting in for me. So no Niners Nightly tonight. I'll be on the rest of the week from 6 to 7 in my normal time slot. I'm doing the big game pregame show, by the way, Saturday, guys. So if you're going down to the big game on the farm, check me out. I'll be at the Pac-12 Plaza hanging out, even though they're in the ACC now. They probably don't call it the Pac-12 Plaza anymore, but we'll be right there where we always are. And I'm excited to be down there. I love the Stanford crowd. I love the the pomp and the circumstance of college football and pregame. So I'm really fired up for that. That'll be a 2-hour show on Saturday leading into the big game. I think it's a 4:30 kickoff. So it's a 1:30 to 3:30 pregame that we'll have for you on KMBR 1050 on the radio side. You can check that out if you're down there at the Pac-12 Plaza. If you're down there at Stanford, come over, say hello. And who knows? Maybe we'll throw you on the radio. No, I doubt we will, but we'll give you fist pound and go Stanford and all that. It's a good time. Anyway, and then Monday Night Football tonight. Who do we got in the Monday Nighter? Let me double check that. Who do I wager on tonight in the Monday Nighter? I think I'm going Cowboys against the Raiders. Cowboys are given 3.5. This is the debut. This is the Cowboys' first game since the death of their defensive lineman. Um, um, that's a terrible loss for the Cowboys. So I'm sure this is a tough game with a lot of heavy hearts there. But this is also the first game for the Cowboys with some of their new defensive players, and the Raiders are playing really poorly. So I like the Cowboys in Vegas, given 3.5 to cover that, maybe even cover quite easily tonight. So I like the Cowboys. And when that game's over, Dieter and I go stream tonight. I've already confirmed with Dietz, so he'll be by. And the only person that's more negative than Ernberg can be Dieter. So I crave that negativity, and Dieter will join us at 8:30, and I'm sure he'll deliver. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show. Hit like and subscribe on your way out the door. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. We really appreciate Sleeper. And then also thanks to Habbas Law. Habbas Law, 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. I love Habbas Law. Why do I love Habbas Law so much? Just because they're rooted in the community, and they keep doing really good initiatives that make me proud to be associated with Habbas Law. So if you need a great lawyer, give them a call. My late father was an attorney. My brother is a judge and was an attorney. And my dad always used to say that the smartest, best thing you could ever do in life is get the right attorney. He said success and failure determined by who's got the right attorney. So anyway, Habbas Law, they do a great job. They'll fight to make it right. 1-800-INJURED, habbaslaw.com on the web, HABBAS law.com. And one thing I do want to mention, the holidays, this is an initiative that Habbas Law is very much behind. The holidays are about warmth and connection and home. But for too many people here in Northern California, food and shelter are not guaranteed. 1 in 3 people struggle to afford food, and thousands live without shelter. Families in crisis, kids going to bed hungry. The Niner faithful always show up when it matters most, and our community needs that same heart. So this November, join Habbas Law in supporting Martha's Kitchen. Martha's Kitchen serves over 200,000 meals every single month to people who need hope. Let's feed more than ourselves this holiday season. And anybody can donate. You don't have to be here in Northern California. Visit them on the web, marthas-kitchen.org, and donate today. If you can't, I totally get it. I get it. If you can, please help. marthas-kitchen.org, marthas-kitchen.org, and you can donate today. They do a lot of great stuff. And if you're in position to help this holiday season, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping, and I just want to say, thanks to Habbas Law for supporting these kinds of initiatives, not just with a word, but with real dollars and real effort and energy. And I love that about Habbas Law. So they're very rooted here in the community. 1-800-INJURED. Good people, great lawyers. And thanks to them for sponsoring the Krug Show. And guys, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you on the radio in about a half hour throughout the day on KMBR. And then the rest of the week, we'll have Niners Nightly at 6 p.m. on the radio. And I'll stream tonight after the Monday night game with the great Dieter. And until then, peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get